The Chiefs just got a ton of fantastic news from offseason OTAs, and in this video, we are going to talk about Rashee Rice, who's finally healthy and back at practice, Josh Simmons, who's working with the offensive line, and Noah Williams and Trent McDuffie both had interceptions during the practice period. But if you guys are new to this channel, my name is Michael Darcy, and you are watching the KC Sports Report. Do me a big time favor and hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel for more daily Chiefs coverage. Now, I do want to go ahead and just jump right into these highlights. Rashee Rice is finally back on the practice field, and as you can see, he does not have a brace on that knee. So this looks absolutely fantastic. And as you can see by these highlights, he's jumping, he's cutting, he's making quick turns, he's looking, fast and agile, which is just such a great thing to see after he tore his ACL less than a year ago. And that's an injury that for the most part takes about a year to fully recover. And some players say that they never really are the same after tearing their ACL. And Rashee Rice is a wide receiver. And so this is someone that is going to have, a lot of expectations, a lot of pressure to succeed in 2025. But just by these highlights, and we can't get too excited because, again, it is June 4th. But the fact that he's out here on the practice field and getting reps in, making those cuts, looking fast and quick, that is such a great sign to see after, again, he tore his ACL less than a year ago. And so I think he is going to be a superstar in 2025. I think he has all of the talent and potential to be a bona fide number one wide receiver. And you also have Xavier Worthy. And you also have, Jalen Royals, who you drafted in the 4th round. And so the Chiefs wide receiver room is easily going to be, if everybody stays healthy, one of the very best in the entire NFL. And so it's just great to see Rashee Rice is back at practice. And, again, we can't get too excited because these guys are still wearing shorts and t-shirts. Like, they're not even wearing pads. They can't hit each other. And I do expect, once training camp starts, the hype is either going to just completely ramp up or it's going to die down. But the fact that he is out here during, I don't believe it's mandatory OTAs, so he doesn't even have to be there. But the fact that he is there putting in work without a knee brace on less than a year after tearing his ACL is a great sign. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. What do you think of Rashee Rice being back at practice, participating in OTAs? I put a post out on my YouTube community tab earlier today, kind of talking about the dynamic duo of Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. If those two guys stay healthy, the Chiefs might have arguably one of the best wide receiver duos in the AFC. I don't know who has a better one. And I think that if they live up to the hype, if we see Rashee Rice continue to take that step that he did before he got injured last year, and if Xavier Worthy also takes that step, if he looks like he did in the second half of that Super Bowl, the entirety of the season, the Chiefs are in absolutely a great position. And I'm just super excited to see what these guys can do. And I'm just excited for them to put pads on and we actually have some real football to report on, some real football to talk about, because you can't get too excited about dudes in shorts. It's June 4th. Again, this doesn't really mean anything, but I think that in the context of the Rashee Rice injury, seeing him out there making cuts, seeing that knee in action, it's awesome because we haven't seen anything from Rashee Rice since he tore it. Now, we've seen some off-season footage of him training, but, he posts that. These are organized team activities, and to see him out there with the other guys and, running routes, catching the ball, doing the ladder drill, it's just a fantastic thing to see. I do want to talk more about Josh Simmons. We do have some film of him doing some individual drills, and I'm going to show that right after a word from our fantastic sponsors. This video is sponsored by my friends over at DM Injury Law. Injured in an accident? You could be entitled to significant compensation, but time is critical. Rely on the experienced personal injury attorneys at DM Law, Kansas City and Missouri's top injury law firm. DM Law is a full-service personal injury practice supported by a team of investigators, case managers, medical records specialists, and more. They've recovered over $600 million for thousands of clients, and they're not afraid to take your case all the way to trial. Every right deserves a fight. And best of all, you don't pay unless they win. DM Law operates on a contingency fee basis, meaning that you do not pay a single dime unless they win your case. If you've been injured, don't wait. You can contact DM Law today for a free consultation and learn how they can help you pursue the compensation you deserve. Let them handle the fight while you focus on recovery. Hurt in a car wreck? Call Mike. Remember, Mike's got this. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisement. Thank you to DM Injury Law for sponsoring this video. The Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway is the place to be. With over 1,500 slot machines, 35 table games, 4 restaurants, and a new ESPN Bet sportsbook, there are plenty of ways to find your fun. For more chances to win, follow them on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Huge thanks to the great sponsors that support me and this channel all off-season long. But let's just go ahead and jump right into this Josh Simmons tape. As you can see, he is number 71. And I think that, it's tough to really gauge where Josh Simmons is in terms of recovery, just because he's coming back from that torn patellar tendon, and there's a lot of people expecting him to be the starter at left tackle, and I'm not sure if I'm that confident that he's going to be healthy. And listen, Andy Reid did say that Josh Simmons is ahead of, ahead of schedule, ahead of, the expected date that he would be back. But at the same time, these guys are not wearing pads, and as you can see by this footage, he's not taking any hits. Josh Simmons is getting into his stance and, getting to his spot, but he is not taking on the weight of a 250-pound edge rusher coming right at him. So yeah, it's great to see Josh Simmons, actually out there during practice and, getting his body used to, I guess, conditioning. I don't even really know. See, and that's why it's so difficult to be overly excited about what you hear about Josh Simmons in June. Come July, come training camp, if he is someone that is getting a lot of the reps the second, third week of training camp at left tackle, he's probably going to be the starter. But I do think we have to be careful to crown him the starting left tackle of this team based on what happens during OTAs. OTAs, in the grand scheme of things, mean very little. OTAs is literally just for players and rookies specifically to get the offense or defense, to understand, their assignment, and it's kind of for Coach Reid to just throw a bunch of stuff at them and see if they can mentally handle it. Can they understand the playbook? Can they understand, their role on the offense or defense? And that's why, in this month of June, these players are just going to get so much stuff thrown at them that you can't really take it too seriously. Now, it's still important because you need to see which players are, succeeding through the program and which players just aren't. Some players, it came out that Kingsley Suamataia wasn't really picking up the playbook, and that was from last year. And that also came from a kind of a conflicting source, but the fact is that they throw a lot at you as a rookie, and the question is, can you handle it? And that's what the whole purpose of OTAs are. But let's see in July, in training camp, where Josh Simmons ends up, playing a lot of his snaps. But I do want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. What do you think of the Josh Simmons footage of him basically just going through some very light drills, just getting to his spot, maybe practicing his get back? But I don't think this is something that we should be overly excited about. And the Rashee Rice film, I love to see him out there, catching the football. Doesn't mean anything. He's wearing shorts. So it's great to see that knee isn't bothering him and he's not wearing a brace. But again, in the grand scheme of things, there's no live contact. And if there's no live contact, it's hard to truly get a great evaluation of a football player. So, but with that being said, I do want to say this right before we get out of here. Two cornerbacks had interceptions today during practice. You had Trent McDuffie and Noah Williams. And I actually think that Trent McDuffie's poised for a really good 2025 season. You signed Christian Fulton this offseason. That's going to allow him to, go between being a slot corner and being an outside corner. Now, I was listening to cornerbacks coach Dave Merritt. He was talking to the media today, and he actually said that Trent McDuffie is still their number one outside guy. So kind of interesting to see that's maybe where they're going to put him. But Noah Williams, who they drafted in the third round, also had an interception today during practice, and I've got very high hopes for him. So I want to hear from you guys down in the comments section below. What do you think of Noah Williams? What do you think of this secondary? I think it's going to be really exciting to watch, and this defense should be absolutely fierce in 2025. But Chiefs Kingdom, that is all I have for this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more daily Chiefs coverage, and until next time, guys, thank you for watching this video, and as always, go Chiefs.